Good morning, grain traders. I'm meteorologist Sean Sublette for CropProphet, and it's time for the forecast of the forecast for this Friday, June 6, 2025. And we start with the probabilities here that the ECMWF ensemble mean, when you come in Monday, is going to be skewed warmer or cooler than normal. And a lot of the same themes we've seen over the past week continue to push forward here when we look at the forecast ensemble mean anomalies one way or the other. Specifically, these areas that are projected in the model to come in cooler than normal. Again, the probabilities 50 to 60%, some places even upwards of 70 or 80% probability being cooler than normal, shunted to the farther southern reaches of the Corn Belt. And in fact, a lot of the heart of the Corn Belt shows a lot of uncertainty one way or the other. Not a lot of signal that skews warm or cool in the probabilities from Nebraska through Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana. And in fact, we start to see these warmer than normal probabilities beginning to show up now for a good part of the Dakotas into Wisconsin as well as Minnesota. So there's a lot of uncertainty how the model is going to show up first thing on Monday morning for week 1. That's days 1 to 7. Then in week 2, days 8 to 14, a very strong warm signal does show up, especially in areas that are already kind of dry now. We think about Nebraska and Iowa. The soil moisture is a little bit lower. Same situation now in southeastern South Dakota. So we're looking at probabilities that the model is going to come in warmer than normal, 40, 50, 60, even 70% likelihood the model comes in warmer than normal for a good part of Iowa and extending across the Mississippi River into adjacent locations into Illinois. Turning now to precipitation, the forecast of the forecast now, how the ECMWF ensemble mean shows up on Monday morning. Probabilities of 40, 50, 60% of it being drier than normal through the central part of the Mississippi River Valley, either side there into Iowa as well as to Illinois, and a little more uncertainty as you go farther west. But that dry signal, 40% probability drier than normal, across most of South Dakota, and we don't see a lot of rationale for it being wetter than normal until you go farther north or toward the arrowhead of Minnesota. 40% likelihood there, and then farther to the south as you get down toward the tail end or the southern end of the soybean belt. Then in week 2, we talked about this earlier, that very warm signal in days 8 to 14 into Iowa and Nebraska. And we are in the time of year where a warm signal is going to correlate very strongly with a dry signal. And we see that very distinctly now, that 40% likelihood the model will come in drier than normal for Detroit and Grand Rapids, across Chicago, Des Moines, Kansas City, St. Louis, and across a good part of Nebraska and Kansas. And remember, the soil moisture is still quite low, anomalously low through a lot of Iowa and Nebraska. So growing concern that is going to slow down the progression of the crop here over the next couple of weeks. Don't forget, there's still time to sign up for our June grain market weather webinar this Monday, June 9th, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central. Go to the website, CropProphet.com, to sign up, and we will talk with you again on Monday.